Hello guys, welcome to another video. This one is paper 2 of October-November 2002. Okay, so let's see what do we have for questions. Let's move on to question number 1. Okay, this one is section A. We have to answer all the questions in this section. So first question, the diagram 1 shows a path AC in a park ABCD. So ABCD is a park and we have a path AC here. Now AC is 530, BC is 370, and we know that AC is perpendicular to BC. Okay. Question number 1, we have to calculate the angle ABC. So now first, where is the angle ABC? ABC will be this angle. So by observation, how would you find this angle? You would see, okay, so first we realize we have a right angle triangle, which is ACB, right? So if you have a right angle triangle, you can use SOHCAHTOA to find the angle B. So let's do that. So let's use SOHCAHTOA. So SOHCAHTOA. So let's call this angle B. Okay, B is fine. So this is the side. This is the A side for adjacent side. So A and A. This is our O side for opposite side. So we have to use tan. So tan of the angle B is equal to opposite side over the A side. Now from this, B has to be equal to tan inverse of 53 over 37. Okay, so tan inverse of 53 over 37. That will be 55.1 degrees. That is your answer number 1. 55.1 degrees. Now for part B, we have a second diagram which shows two other paths, AE and CE. As you can see here, diagram number 2, we have two paths, AE and CE. Now, the good thing is we know the angles, so given that the angle CAE is 25 and AEC is 90, we have to find the length of AE. So we have to find the length of AE. So by observation again, you can see that we have a triangle, which is CEA, which is also a right angle triangle. So to find this length, we can simply use SOHCAHTOA again, right? So SOHCAHTOA, so we can choose which function to use. So we know this side, this is your H side, and you want to find this side, this is your A side, so you have to use cos. Cos of the angle 25, it is your A side, which is AE, over 530. So by this, we can just cross multiply to find AE. That will be 530 cos 25, that will be 480.3, but correct to 3SF, that will be 480. So the length of AE will be 480 meters. That is part B. Now for part C, given also that the angle ACD is 70 and the angle CAD is 90, calculate the length of CD. Okay, so we know this angle, we know this is 90, we have to find the length of CD, which is this one. So again, we have a right angle triangle. What to use? We have again to use SOHCAHTOA to find this side. So SOHCAHTOA, here we go, one more time. So this is your A side, and we're trying to find the H. We have to use cos again. Cos 70 is equal to A side 530 over CD. So from this, CD will be 530 divided by this. Cos of 70, that will be 1549.62, but correct to 3SF, 1550. That will be your answer for this one in terms of 3SF and meters. Now for part 2, we have to find the area of the park ABCD. So how do you find the area? So we have to observe one by one. We can find the area piece by piece. Let's find this one first. This is number 1 and this is number 2. Number 1 is pretty easy. It's the area of a triangle. You can find that by using half times base times height. Okay, so half times base and times height for the area. That will be 98050. Now for this one, if you observe, we know this side already. This is given by, so it's this angle, 70. And we know this side from question part 1. This is, the length here is 1549.62. So to find the area of this triangle, pretty easy as well. We can use our formula, which is half sine of the angle times these two sides, which is 530 and 1549.62. So plus half sine 70 times 530 times 1549.62. That will be 483934.1. Let's check one more time. I'm not too sure because this one is a big number. Let's check one more time. So we have half times sine of 70 times 530 times 1549.62, and then plus this one, 98050. Yep, that will be the answer. Now correct to 3SF. That will be 484000. That will be the area of the park of this ABCD, which is 484,123 meters square. That is your question number 1. Let's move on to question number 2. So here we have to solve this equation. Solving means to find the value of x. So first step, let's send this one over here. You will have x minus 5 will be plus minus root of 81, which is plus minus of 9. X can be 5 plus minus 9, so x will be 5 plus 9 is 14, or it can be equal to minus 4. So two values, 4x. Question part A. Now let's move on to part B. We have to express this as a simple fraction in its simplest form. So first we have to make the base become the same because we have different bases. So we have to first multiply them by each other. You will have 2a minus 1 times a plus 1. Then we cross multiply, you will have a squared plus a minus 4a plus 2. And that will give you a squared minus 3a plus 2 over 2a minus 1 and a plus 1. Now you can see on the top we can try to factorize. Okay, so on top we have two brackets. A squared is a times a, and 2 is 2 times 1. To get minus 3 we just have to do minus 2 minus 1. That is your top value. Divide by the base will be this one, which is 2a minus 1 and a plus 1. And this is your answer for part B. Okay, now for part C, we have to make m become your subject of formula of this equation. So one by one, we can first expand the brackets. You will have a, that'll be 4hm plus h squared. So 4hm will be a minus h squared. So from this you will have m will be a minus h squared divided by 4m. So 4h, not m, because m have to be the subject. So this is your answer for part C and question number 2. Let's move on to question number 3. The points A and B are those 2 points given to you. Part 1, we have to find the gradient of the line AB. So pretty easy. You have to use your formula for that. So gradient of AB is equal to y2 minus y1 x2 minus x1. That will be minus 6 over 8, which is minus 3 over 4. So this is minus 3 over 4. Then we have to find the equation of the line through AB. So to find the equation, we have to use a passing point. So let's use a point minus 2, 1, x, y minus 1 over x plus 2. That will be minus 3 over 4, which is the gradient. So we cross multiply, you will have 4y minus 4 equal to minus 3x minus 6. So 4y equal to minus 3x minus 2. That will be your answer for this one. Now for part B, the points C and D are these two. Part 1, Write down in terms of P and Q the coordinates of the midpoint of CD. So pretty easy. We have to use our formula again. So midpoint will be x1 plus x2 divided by 2, so 4 plus p divided by 2, and y1, y2, so 5 plus this divided by 2. That will be your answer for part 1. Now, given that the midpoint is given by this, find the coordinates of D. So pretty easy. Midpoint is this one, is given by 7, 1, so we have to compare. So 4 plus 5, so 4 plus p, sorry, over 2 is 7, and 5 plus q over 2 should be 1. So cross multiply, you can find the values of p. P has to be 10, and q has to be minus 3. So the point D will be 10 minus 3. And this is your question number 3. Let's move on to question number 4. So here we have what? In the diagram we have ABFG is a rectangle. So let me use different colors here. Rectangle, we have ABFG. So for rectangle, we know that the two sides are the same, right? So we know that this side is the same as this side, and this side is the same as this side for rectangles, right? Well, let me use a different color for which one? Okay, that is fine. Now we know that the square, this one is a square, so B, C, D, E is a square. So for square, let me, because we know that for square every sides are equal, so let me just show that these sides are equal for squares. Okay. And also, what else do you know about those two shapes? You know that the angle inside is 90, right? So you know that the angle for it is 90, 90, 90, 90. And the angle for a rectangle is also 90. So this is 90, 90, 90, and 90. Okay. Now let's move on to question number 1. We have, first thing we know is that ACG and GFE are straight lines. So ACG, GFE are two straight lines. Okay. What else? Now part 1, we have to show that the angle ABC is equal to the angle FBE. So where's ABC? ABC is this angle, FBE. So we have to show that these two angles are the same. So we can do this step by step. For example, let's do something here. So let us just first call this angle, let this angle be theta, for example. So first step, let's start this here. So first step, let angle FBE be theta, right? So from this, you can derive what? Because we know that the angle for the square is 90, right? We know this is 90. So from this, we can derive the angle FBC will have to be 90 minus theta. Okay, I hope that makes sense, right? Because if this is theta and this is 90, so this has to be 90 minus theta, right? Okay, so from here we know something else. We know that since we know the angle ABF is 90 because it is a rectangle, and this angle here has to be 90. So this means this angle here will have to be, so angle ABC will have to be 90 minus 90 minus theta, which is equal to theta. So basically in the end, FBE is equal to ABC theta theta. This is shown as required. Okay, so if you guys don't understand this right now, you can go through the steps one by one to see what's happening, and you will realize that this is true. Okay, so let's go again one by one for you guys. First, you have to let this one be theta, for example. Then, because we know this is 90, this will be 90 minus theta for this angle. Now we know this one is also 90, so this will be 90 minus this one will become this. So that's how you prove these two angles are the same. That is for part A. Now for part B, we have to show that the triangle ABC is congruent to triangle FBE. So first thing, where is triangle ABC? So ABC and FBE. So let me just take them out first. So we have ABC here in this direction. This is B, A, and C. This is 90. So we know this is the blue angle, right? And then we have this one is FB. So that will be something like this, right? This is 90. This is FEB. So we know this is the blue angle right here. Okay, and we have we can see that we have this side. We have this side, so this side is the same, sorry. The brown side, which is this one, and the brown side, which is this one. So now you have to realize something is that, so you know that the sum of the angle in a triangle are 180, right? Now since you know that this is 90, this is the blue angle, so this will be the remaining angle. Okay, that will be the angle, the third angle of the triangle. But now, this is the same thing over here. You have 90, the blue angle, so this also have to be the red angle, right? So the first thing you realize is that they have the same angles in the triangle. That's the first thing you realize. Now, how can we prove that two triangles are congruent? So first thing to understand is congruent means the two triangles are exactly the same. That's what it means. But how can you prove that? So we have many ways to prove that. Let me explain to you guys a few methods. So the first method to prove is called SSS. It means that you prove all the corresponding sides are equal. That's one way. Now second way you can prove is SAS. You prove that the angle in between and the side around the angle are the same. That's the second way. And the third way to prove is ASA. You prove that the side in between and the angle around the side are the same. So in this question itself, it is easier to prove the third method, which is by ASA. If you observe, ASA means the side in between and the two angles around it. As you can see, we know that this brown side in between are the same, and the two angles around it are the same, as you can see. So by ASA method, you have proven that these two triangles are congruent. So let's write this down. So part B, by ASA method, the first thing we have realized is that the side BC is equal to the side BE. It is the according to question, because we know that BCDE is a square. Because of the question, we know these two are the same. Okay, now from this part 2, we know that angle, so from part A, we know that angle ABC is equal to angle FBE. That's something was given to us from part A, right? Now, obviously, for the third one, we have to know that angle. So this one is ACB is equal to angle FEB, because they are just the third angle of a triangle. Okay. So by proving that the side in between and the two angles are the same, we have proven that these two triangles will be congruent. So hence triangles ABC and FB are congruent. Okay, that will be your answer for part B. Now for part C, hence we have to show that this one is a square. So now, since we were able to confirm they are congruent, we can proceed. So now again, what does congruent mean? It means that these two triangles are exactly the same. That's what it means. So based on that, let's go back to our triangles. So because of that, now we know that if this side is this side, it means that this side will be this side. So these two sides will be the same. And also, these two sides will be the same because they are congruent. So let's mark this down on our shape here. So this is side AB. AB has to be this color. This is side BF. BF has to be this color. And this is the side FE will be this one and this one. So by observation, what do you see? You see that for the shape ABFG, so ABFG, you realize that this side is the same as this side because, as you can see, red, which means this has to be a square, because at first we have assumed it was a rectangle. Rectangle means this side is the same as this and this side is the same as this. But now, since we have proven that these two are the same, we know that all the sides must be the same. So hence it is a square. So the main conclusion is we have realized that the side BA is equal to BF, and from this we have realized that the shape ABFG is a square. So that's how we have realized this is true. Okay, and that will be your question number 4. Let's move on to question number 5. So in the diagram, A is a point 10, 1, and AB is a point minus 8, 15. Okay, so question, find the magnitude of AB. So let's do that. That will be square root. Our first one square will be 64 plus 15 square. That will be 225. So 64 plus 225, that will be 289. That will be 17. 17 units. Now for part 2, we have to find the coordinates of B. So pretty easy. So we have to find OB. Okay. So we know that AB is equal to OB minus OA. Right? Which is equal to minus 8, 15. From this we can derive what? So let's continue on top. We can derive that OB has to be minus 8, 15 plus OA. OA is given by 10, 1. That will be 260. That will be your point B. So let's write down B is 260. Now for part C, the point C is given by 4216, and we know that CD is 3 times AB. Okay, let's write down CD is 3 times AB. So these two are parallel. Okay, so in that case we have to find the point D. So pretty easy. So what is 3 times AB? That will be 3 times this will be minus 24 and 45. So what is CD? CD is OD minus OC. So to find OD, we have to have minus 24, 45 plus OC, which is 42 and 16. So minus 24 plus 42, that will be 18, and 45 plus 16, that is 61. So OD will be this one, the point D will be 1861. So here we have to find the vector AD. So AD will be OD minus OA. So OD will be 1861 minus OA is given by 10, 1. That will be 8 and 60. That is your answer for part 2. Now for the question, the point E is the point K and 16. Okay, K16. As you can see, the point E lies on the line BC. Right. Now question part 1. Find in terms of k the vector AE. So pretty easy. AE is defined by OE minus OA. OE is k 16 minus OA is given by 10, 1. That will be k minus 10 over 15. That is your answer for part 1. Now for part 2, given that AED is a straight line, find the value of k. Okay, so also AED is a straight line, find the value of k. So let's use that. We know that AE is equal to k minus 10 over 15. But previously we also find out the value of AD was given by 860. That's the value of AD. But since it lie on the line AED, we can form an equation which is AE is a multiple of AD. Because the reason why I can write this is because I know that E lies on AD, so we can form an equation in terms of M and K. So AE will be k minus 10, 15, equal to M times AD will be 8 and 60. So you have k minus 10 is equal to 8m and 15 equal to 60m. So from this you can see m has to be 15 divided by 60. That will be 0.25. And to find the value of k, that will be 8m times 8 plus 10. That will be 12. So here you go. The value of k has to be the value of 12. And finally, part D, we have to find the area of triangle AB and the area of triangle CD. Okay, so where's those two triangles? So ABE is this one, and we have CDE. We know the ratio of these two already now. Okay, so the ratio of this one, AE is M is what? M is 1 over 4. So we know what? We know that AE is equal to 1 over 4 AD. So what is the ratio? Let's break it down. AD is 4, A is 1, so this is 1. This should be 3 because everything is 4, right? So the ratio of the side AE over the side ED is 1 to 3. That's the side. Now what is the ratio of the area? We have to square both sides. That will be 1 over 9. So the area ratio will be 1 over 9. That will be part D of question number 5. Let's move on to question number 10. So here we have in 2000, the cost of a packet of nails was $4.20. In 2001, the price has increased to $4.50. Now part 1, find the percentage increase in the cost of the nail. So pretty easy. That will be increase is 450 minus this will be 0.30 divided by initial cost times 100 for the percentage. So 0.3 divided by 4.2 times 100, that will be 7.14%. You can always double check. So 450 minus 4.2, that's the increase, divided by initial price times 100. Yep, that will be your answer for part 1. Correct to 3SF. Now part 2, a new cereal packet contains 20% more than the old packet. The new packet contains this much. Okay, calculate the mass of the old packets. So pretty easy. Let's say this is old and this is new. We know the new one is 264 and the old one we don't know. Now we know that it was increased by 20%. If you increase, so always the initial amount we call them 100%. If you increase by 20%, this will be 120%, right? So we have to use ratio to find the value of x. So from here we have, let me write this here. 120 is equal to 264, but we want to find 100. That will be 264 divided by 120 times 100. That will be 220. So your answer here for X is mass is 220 grams. Now for part 3, a builder bought a large number of bags of cement. Okay. As a result, he was given a discount of 7%. The discount was this much. So you realize 7% was equal to 910. Now, how much the builder paid for the cement? So as you can understand, the initial price was 100%. If you minus 7%, it will be 93%. So he paid 93% of the price, right? So you know that 7 is equal to 910. 93 will be 910 divided by 7 times 93. That will be 12090. That will be your exact answer for this one, which is in terms of dollars. So $12,090. So this one, that will be your exact value. Now part B, on May 1st, 1998, William invested $900 for 4 years. This one is simple interest. Okay, so this is investment, which is P for investment. This is number of years, which is time, and this is your rate, and this one is simple interest. Now part 1, calculate the interest he received on his payment. So just the interest, I is equal to PRT. So P is 900 times the rate, which is 6%, times the time will be 4 years. That will be 216. Now for part 2, he invested another $900 for 3 years at 6%. Okay, so this is part 2 now, not the same one. He invested another $900 for 3 years at 6% on this year. And then this one again for 2 years and this date. And then the final $900 for 1 year on this date. Okay, everything was simple interest. Okay, now William withdrew all of his money on May 2002. Calculate the total sum he withdrew. So we have to find the final amount that he withdrew away. So we have to find one by one. So amount is equal to what? It is your principal plus your interest, right? So what is the interest earned here? So same formula, PRT. So PRT will be what? So P is 900 times R is 6% times T, which is 3 years. That will be 162. And this one, same thing, PRT. Now it is 2 years. That will be 108. It is only for 1 year. That will be 54. So the principal he put in was 900, 900, 900, and 900. So 4 times 900. That will be 3600. And the interest earned over the years will be this much. 216 plus 162 plus 54. So I think I'm missing something. So 216 plus 162 plus 108 plus 54. That will be 540. So everything together will be 3600 plus answer. That will be 4140. That will be the total that he was able to withdraw after his investment. So the principal plus the interest earned over the years. Now let's move on to part B of the question. So we only have to answer 4 questions, and of course we will be doing all the questions in this paper. Now question number 7. A trader bought some paraffin for $500. That's the cost of the paraffin. Now he paid X dollars for each liters of paraffin. Great. Now part A. Find in terms of X an expression for the number of liters he bought. So we know that 1 liter was X dollars. Okay. Now for $500, that will be equal to what? That will be 1 over x times 500. That will be 500 over x for your first answer. Now for part B, due to a leak, he lost 3 liters of paraffin. So he lost 3 liters, so it means that right now he has 500 over x minus 3. Right, he lost 3 liters. He sold the remainder. Remainder is this one. This is called the remainder. For $1 per liters, more than he paid for it. So he paid x. He sold for, selling price is x plus 1. Okay. Now write an expression for the sum of money he received. Pretty easy. It is remainder times selling price. That will be x plus 1 times 500 over x minus 3. That is the amount of money that he receives from selling the remainder at this price. Now part C, he made a profit of $20. Write down an equation in X to represent this information and show we have this from that equation. So the profit will be selling price minus costs, which is 500, should give you this value. So let me find some space. We can write this down. So basically what happened was, so he sold them for this price. So sold, selling price, selling revenue was x plus 1 times 500 over x minus 3. Now buying was $500. So profit, it says it made $20. So how do you find profit? It is selling price minus costs to get profit. That will be x plus 1 times 500 over x minus 3 minus cost, it is 500, equal to profit. So simplify, you will have x plus 1 500 minus 3x over x equal to 520. Right, 20 plus this will be 520. Now if you want to eliminate the denominator, we have to multiply by 3 everywhere. You will have x plus 1 500 minus 3x. So this is x, not 3. Mistake again. We have to multiply by x everywhere to eliminate the denominator. So 3x equal to 520x. Now simplify. This time this will be 500x minus 3x squared and plus 500 minus 3x is equal to 520x. Now simplify. Let's send everything to one side. To this side, you will have 3x squared, and you will have plus 520x plus 3x minus 500x and minus 500 equal to 0. Simplify, you will have 3x squared, and this will give you, let's check, so 520 plus 3 minus 500, that will be 23, and minus 500 equal to 0. So that is the equation that you get, and let's check if that is correct or not. So this is the same as shown, right? Same as required. So you write shown as required. Now for part C, part 2, we have to solve the equation giving both answers correct to 1 decimal place. So pretty easy. We have to solve by using your formula. X will be minus b plus minus root of b squared, so 23 squared minus 4 times a times c. That will be 6529 divided by 2a, that will be 6. So minus 23 plus root of 6925 divided by 6. So first value will be 9.6, correct to 1 decimal place, 9.6, or it can be minus 23 minus root of 6529 divided by 6. Or it can be minus 17.3, correct to 1 decimal place. Okay, so this will be the two values for this one, x. Now for part D, find correct to the nearest whole number how many liters of paraffin we sold. So we know that he sold this much, remainder. So he sold 500 over x minus 3. So of course we will use x to be positive. Okay, you have 500 divided by 9.6 minus 3. That will be, to the nearest whole number, that should be 49. So he sold 49 liters of paraffin. That will be your question, part D. Okay, that is question number 7. Let's move on to question number 8. So here we have a shape. Let's see, what do we have? The diagram shows 4 points A, B, C, and D on a piece of a horizontal line. Now it is given that AB is 45, AD is 25, and BD is 28. Now calculate the angle ADB. Okay. So to find this angle, because we know all the sides of the triangle already, we have to use the cosine rule. So cosine of the angle D is equal to 25 square plus 28 square minus 45 square. Divide by 2 times 25 times 28. So cos of D will be what? 25 square plus 28 square minus 45 square divided by 2 times 25 times 28. That will be minus 0.44. So cos inverse of that should give you the angle, should be 116.1. So angle D will be 116.1 degrees. Now for point B, it is also given that CD is 22 and angle ACD is 33. Calculate the angle ADC. Okay, ADC, we have to find this angle. So pretty easy. We can find this by using what? Let's see what is possible here. So by observation, there's many ways to do that, of course. But let's see if there's any easier way, or we have to take the long way anyways. Let's check. So we know this angle, so we can find, if this is a straight line, what is this angle then? This should be 180 minus 116.1. That should be 63.9. And is that useful? No, it's not really useful, so we cannot use that. But we have to find the big angle. So according to so we can use something pretty simple here. So to find the big angle, we can first find the small angle by using the sine rule. So basically we know that 22 over sine of this angle, let's call it theta, is equal to 25 over sine of 33. So sine of theta will be 25 divided by sine of 33 divided by 22. That will be 2 point something, which is not right. That is not possible. Let's try again. So 22 will be this one, 25 will be this one. 25 divided by, so we have, okay, we have to make this become a subject, so we have to send this over here and this over here. So that is better. 22 times sine of 33 divided by 25, that will be the value. So I made a mistake in terms of cross multiplying, so that should be theta will be sine inverse of answer. That will be 28.6 degrees. Now if this is 28.6, this has to be the third angle of the triangle. That will be 180 minus 28.6 minus 33. That will be 118.4 degrees. So your answer will be 118.4 degrees. Now for part C, the line BD is produced beyond D. Okay, calculate the shortest distance from C to this line. Okay, so always is the case. So to find the shortest distance, it means to find the perpendicular distance to the line. Okay, so let's see how can you find that from the point C. So we have to make a vertical line from the point C. So we have to find this length. Now the one thing we can do here, we can take out this triangle. Let's have a better look to see what can we do. So basically right now we have the line going here, and we have C here, and this is the point joining with this one. So we want to be finding this length. This is 90. We want to find the length. Let's call this one x here. What is this angle? If you observe, as we have explained, this is given by 118.4. This is 63.9. So this one will be 118.4 minus 63.9. That will be 54.5. Okay, and this is 22. So you want to find the length of x. So pretty easy. As you can see, we have a right angle triangle. We can use SOHCAHTOA. So this is your hypotenuse, and you want to find your opposite side. You have to use sine. Sine of 54.5. That will be your opposite side over the hypotenuse. So x will be cross multiply sine of the angle times 22. That will be 17.9. So the perpendicular distance, which is your shortest distance, that should be 17.9, that is meters, for part C. Now for part D, D is a foot of the vertical mass dt. So where's your point D? Your point D is here. It is the foot of a vertical mass dt. Now the angle of elevation of the top of the mass T from A is 40 degrees. So just to understand, we have a point D here, and we have a vertical mass dt. And basically, it says from the point A is in this direction, right? It says the angle of elevation from that point is 40 degrees. So this is 40. Since AD is on the ground and this is vertical, this has to be 90 degrees. Okay? And you may ask me, how do I know it's on the ground? Because you can see in the question, it is on a horizontal line. It means it is on the ground. And T has to be vertical. This is 40. And we know the length of AD has given to you by 25 according to the question. Now we have to find the angle of elevation of T from B. Now B will be something in this direction. Right? This is B. So you want to find this angle. So the length of DB will be 28. So first, for you to find this angle, we must first find the length of TD. Let's do that. So TD can be found by using SOHCAHTOA again, because we have a right angle triangle. So we know this side, it is your A side. This is your O side, you have to use 10. 10 of 40 is equal to TD over 25. TD will be 25 tan of 40. Okay, that is your length of TD. Now to find this angle, we know this is 90 again because it is on the ground. This is vertical. Okay, so to find the angle here, we have this side and this side. We have to use SOHCAHTOA again, so we have to use 10. So tan of theta is equal to TD over this. TD is 25 tan of 40 over 28. So let's find out. 25 tan of 40 divided by 28, this value, tan inverse, that will be 36.8. That will be your answer for this angle. Angle of elevation from B. That will be your question number 8. Let's move on to question number 9. So the value of theta is 3.142, correct to 3 decimal place. The area of the curved surface of the cone is given by pi r L, and the volume of the cone is given by this formula, 1/3 base area times height. So let's move on to the question itself. So diagram 1 shows a hut which consists of a circular cylinder with an overhanging roof. So the cylinder is the base and the roof is a cone, from what you can see, right? Now it says that the roof is a curved surface of a cone and is supported by a pole. The pole is a cylinder. Now for part 2, it shows a vertical cross-section of the hut. Okay, as you can see, this is the vertical cross-section. So cross-section is basically the side view. For example, this is the top view and this is the side view. So this is the side view of the hut, basically. Now it says BE and CD are horizontal. So B and CD are flat or horizontal. Now AN, which is this height, is 4. BM is equal to ME. So BM is equal to ME, which is 3.6, 3.6. And we have BC, DE is equal to 1.3. So BC, DE, 1.3, 1.3. Now for A, we have to show that AB is equal to 4.5 meters. So how can you show this is true? So let's observe. Where is AB? AB is here. Okay. Now, because this is flat and this is vertical, right? Flat, vertical, this has to be 90 degrees. Now, you have a right angle triangle. We have A and B is your right angle triangle that you can use to find the side of AB. So you realize something here. If this whole length is 4, and if this is 1.3, what is this one? This will be 4 minus 1.3. That will be 2.7. Okay, so now we have two sides of this triangle. So AB can be found by using your Pythagoras theorem. So let's do this. So we have 3.6 square plus 2.7 square is equal to AB square. So AB square will be what? So 3.6 square plus 2.7 square, that will be 20.25. So AB will be root of 4, that will be 4.5. This is shown as required. So AB is 4.5. Okay, now let's move on to the part B now. So calculate the volume of inside of the hut. So inside is the keyword here. So what is the volume of just the inside, not this one? So this one we don't think, only the inside. So the top is a cone, right? Is a cone of radius 3.6. So one by one, the top here, that will be number 1. That be volume of a cone is found by using 1/3 pi r square h. So 1/3 pi is pi, r square is 3.6 square, height is 2.7. That is the volume of number 1, which is this one, the cone. Now for number 2, it is volume of the cylinder, which is equal to pi r square h. That will be pi is pi, r square is 3.6 square, h is, this height is 1.3. So let's add them together to find the value. So 1/3 pi times 3.6 square times 2.7 plus pi times 3.6 square times 1.3. That will be 89.6. So your answer will be 89.6 for the volume of the hut. Okay, that will be part 1 of the question B. That is, that will be in terms of meters cube. It is very important to write the units as well. Now for part 2, we have to find the total surface area of the inside again of the hut, including the floor. So there's a few things we need to find. So first, you have to find the curved surface area of this cylinder and the inside area of this shape right here as well, which is the inside of the cone. So let's do this one by one. So we have 3 things to find this time. The first one is that is for part 2 of the question. So the first step is to find the curved surface area of the cylinder for the base, that will be 2 pi r is 3.6 h, the height is 1.3. And number 2, we have to find the base area, which is your area of a circle, which is pi r square, 3 square. And number 3, which is your inside area of this cone, which is pi r l. Pi is pi, r is 3.6, l is your slant height given to you by 4.5. That is 4.5. Now we have to add everything together to find the total surface area. So let's add that one by one. So 2 pi times 3.6 times 1.3 plus pi times 3.6 square plus pi times 3.6 times 4.5. That will be 121 meters square for the value of that surface area. Now for part C, the sun is directly overhead, which means it is exactly above the hut. So whenever it reflects, it will be exactly above it, if that makes sense, right? Now the shadow of the overhanging section of the roof on the ground is a circular ring around the hut. Okay, I hope that makes sense, right? If it is right above this, when the sun is reflecting on top of this, you will have a ring which is around the hut. Alright, now we have AP equal to AQ equal to 5.5. So which means this side here, AP, this length, AP, which is 5.5, and AQ would also be the same. So because of that, we have to find what? We have to find the length of PQ. So PQ is this one. PQ is this length right here. So now, there's many ways to find the length of PQ. So one of the ways is to use the fact you know that these two triangles are similar. That's one method we can use to show they are the same. So for example, if I take out this shape, we have A and B, right? That's my triangle A. This is B, this is A, this is M, right? This is 4.5, and this is 2.7, and this is 3.6. This is 90. Now if you extend this line, you will have this point. Let's call this one X. And if you continue this one, you will have the other point, which is called P. So as you can see, the big triangle here, which is APX and ABM, they are similar because we have one triangle in another triangle, which is a small triangle in the same big triangle, and these two sides are parallel. Because of that, we know these two must be similar. Now, how we can use this now? Because we know this is AP is 5.5, so you have to find this side. So pretty easy. We have to compare their corresponding side. So first thing is AB over AP 5.5, that is equal to 3.6 over PX. So make PX become the subject. You will have 3.6 times 5.5 divided by 4.5. That will be 4.4. So PX is 4.4. This is X. But we know that PX is the same as XQ. So from this you derive that PQ will be 2 times 4.4, which is 8.8. And that will be your answer for PQ, which is 8.8. And also, I am sorry for the noise outside. There's construction happening. So next year I'll be moving to a new space, so there will not be any noise. So for now, I am sorry for the construction. Sorry guys. Now part 2, the area of the circular ring of the shadow outside the hut. So we have to find the area of that ring. So pretty easy. So what are they telling you to find is, you have your shadow. This is your hut base, right? That's your hut base. It is a circle, the base of the hut. And we have the shadow of the cone, which is this one. So you want to find this area. Okay, so how can you find this area? You first have to find the whole area minus the one inside to get only this area. So first, what is the radius of the inside circle? If you observe, inside circle, the radius will be 3.6. that is the inside value. Now what is the radius for the outside circle? If you observe, that has to be px, which is 4.4. Okay, so now using those two values we can find the area of that region. So let's do that. So first is pi r square of 4.4 for the large circle minus pi 3.6 square of the small circle minus 3.6 square pi, that will be 20.1 for your answer. And this is your answer, part 2 for question number 9. Of course, you have to write down the units. That will be 20.1 meters square for area. That will be your question number 9. Okay, so now we have to move on to question number 10. This one seems to be a graph question, so I need to find a piece of graph paper first. Just give me one moment. Okay, so I think I found one. Yep, it's right here. Okay, so let's begin this question. Answer the whole of this question on a sheet of graph paper. A man stood at the top of a tower. He threw a ball vertically upwards. The height h of the ball above the top of the tower at a time t after it was thrown is given by this formula. So basically the main point is h is the height above the top is given by this formula. Okay, that's the main point. Now, the table shows some values of t and the corresponding values of h. As you can see, t plugged inside the formula will give you these values of h. So explain why. Explain the significance of the value of this, So what does it mean when it is negative value? So it basically means that the ball is below the top of the tower. So just to make sense, basically what happens is the guy is on top of a tower. So this is the tower. The guy is here. He's throwing a ball on top. And we're measuring the height above the tower. So in this direction, it will be positive value. But if it is in this direction, it will be negative value. So what do I mean? The ball will go up, 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 and then it will start falling. So whenever it crosses this value, if it goes below the top, it will start having a negative value. So that's why you see a negative value. It means that the ball is now below the top of the tower. That's what it means. Okay. Now for part B, find the value of p. P can be found pretty easily. We can just plug the value of t inside of this formula. 22 times 6 minus 4.9 times 6 square. That will be minus 44.4. So let's try one more time just to make sure. 22 times 6 minus 4.9, 6 square, that will be same value. That will be part B done. Now part C, we have to use a scale of 2 centimeter for 1 second on the horizontal axis between 0 and 6. So pretty easy. So we just have to draw a horizontal axis from 0 to 6. So let's do that. Okay, so we cannot begin here actually, my mistake, because why? Because the h-axis, the vertical, it also have a negative value. So we have to begin somewhere in the middle so we can account for that negative value. So first let's begin with this one. So 2 centimeters for 10 meters from this to this. Okay, so let's try to do this first. So let's first draw the vertical axis. Okay, so that is my vertical axis. You have to label your axis all the time. This is your this was height in terms of meters. Yeah. Yes, it is meters, right? Height per meters. Now it is from which value to which value? It is from minus 50 to 30. Okay, so every 2 centimeters 10. So let's begin somewhere. I'd say about here, right? Let's do this one. This will be minus 50, for example. So 2 centimeter will be 10. This will be minus 40. That will be minus 30. 1, 2, minus 20. 1, 2. That will be minus 10. And finally, you will have 0 here. And then again, 1, 2. That will be a 10, 20, and 30. That will be your y-axis. Now for your x-axis, you have to begin at this point here, 0, and will be from 1 till 6, from 0 till 6. You have to label, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is t in terms of seconds. That will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is from 0 till 6 and minus 50 till 30. That is, now we have to plot the points and join them by a smooth curve. So let's do that. So first point we have 0, 0. So we'll be right here. And then we have 1, 17.1. So 1 will be here. 17.1 should be right here. And then we have 2, 24.4. Then we have 2.5, the same thing. Then we have 3, will be 21.9. 21.9 should be. Then we have 4 will be 9.6. Then we have 5 will be minus 12.5. Then we have 6 will be minus 44.4. So minus 44.4 should be somewhere around here. So now we have to join these 2 points by a smooth curve. Let's see how can we try to do this. So you have to try your best. So of course you'll be using a pencil for that. So if your line is not good, you can always erase and then try again, okay? That will be this, and this will be somewhere in this direction. That should be a straight line, curved. Not so great. So you have to make sure that it passes to the point properly. So mine is not great, but you have to make sure that yours is on all the points perfectly. So that will be my smooth curve I've tried. Should be in this direction. Now that is your question, part C, that is done. Now for part D, use your graph. So you have to use your graph. Find the greatest height the ball has reached. So according to my graph, your graph may be different. So from what I can see, the biggest height that I have is 25. So that is 25 according to my graph. 25 meters. Now for part 2, what else do we have? We have the length of time for which the ball was more than 20 meters above. So we first have to go to our y-axis, our h-axis, sorry, for 20 meters. Let's find out how long it was above that height. So we have to draw a line, and you will have 2 points of intersection. One will be this one, and one will be this one. So the interval, this one shows to be about 1.3, and this one is 3.2. So that will be 3.2 minus 1.3. That will be 1.9. 1.9 seconds. That will be for part 2. Now for part E, by drawing a tangent, find the gradient at the graph at this point. So let's find the point, 4 and 9.6. That will be right here. So we'd have to draw a tangent at this point. So we have to make sure our line touches 1 point exactly, right? So it will be in this direction. Okay, so now we have to find 2 points, one on this side. Let's say we choose this one. Let me choose this one. This will be 5.2 and minus 10. And I will choose another one here. I will choose, let's say I choose this one, which is, this is 2.8 and 30. So 2 points, then we can find the gradient using 2 points by your formula, right? which is y2 minus y1. So y2 is minus 10 minus 30 divided by 5.2 minus 2.8. So minus 40 divided by 5.2 minus 2.8, that will be minus 16.7 for my value of that. Now explain what your answer tells you about the motion of the ball at this time. So you have to know the gradient is the y value divided by y is meters divided by second. So what is expressed by meters per second? You know, this is the speed, right? The rate of change of meters is the speed. So what does it tell you? The speed is negative. So you tell you the speed of the ball at time t4 is equal to minus 16.7 meters per second. The motion means it is basically, this is depends on the velocity maybe, because we have two directions. Because we are also accounting for direction, that will be called a velocity. So whenever it is minus, it means the direction is going down, because as I've explained before, when your ball is going up, we call this to be positive direction. Going down will be negative direction. So instead of speed, this will be called your velocity. It will be minus 16.7, meaning it is going down at this speed, at this velocity, right? So yep, here you go, it is going down at this speed. This is what it means. Now for part F, the ball hit the ground 5.4 seconds after it was thrown. Okay, use your graph to find the height of the tower. Okay, so let's see, where is that? 5.4 seconds is right here. 5.4, and the height below the tower is this height. So pretty easy, you'll find the answer. It is minus 20, that will be 22. So the height will be 22 meters. So just to explain, when the ball is thrown, whenever it goes up and then it goes down. So we know that at this time, when it hits the ground, the time was 5.4 seconds. Now, this height here is a height below the thing. It is begin when we have our first negative value. So basically, when the time is 4.6, I would say, it began falling below, and then whenever it hits this the ground, it was at this time, so the corresponding height will be 22. The height is 22 meters according to my graph. Your graph may be different, maybe 25, 24, but it should be shown on how did you find your answer. Okay, that is only 1 point. It is pretty easy. That is your question number 10. Now let's move on to question number 11. So a bag contains 5 balls numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and another bag contains 6 balls numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so one ball is drawn at random from each bag. Okay, so in those cases, I would advise to draw a tree diagram, because it helps you to know what's happening. But the main point is, we have bag 1, let's call bag A, and bag B. So one ball is drawn from each of them. Okay, now part 1, we have to find one ball is numbered 6 and the other is numbered, 1 and other 6. So pretty easy. In that case, it can only be 1 and 6. So for the first bag has to be 1. So 1, we have only 1 over 5 option. 6 will be 1 over 6 option. That will be 1 over 30 as your answer. Okay. Now for this one, both balls have odd numbers. Okay. Now for the first bag to have odd number, we have 1, 2, 3 options. So 3 over 5 times is 1, 2, 3. Same thing. 3 over 6. That will be. So that will be. So simplify 1, 2, 3 over 10. Now for part 3, both balls have the same number, so there's many options available. So we can do, either we can find all having the same number, or we can do 1 minus the chance that the balls have different number. It is much easier to find that. So this is different. We can only have one will be 1 over 6 and the rest will be everything else. If that makes sense. I know it's kind of long to do this question because you have to do step by step every other possibilities. That's why it's long, right? So let's see. Or we can just do this one, make it easier for you guys. Same number can be what? Can be, let me find some space. So same number, it can be 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, and 5, 5. So that's how they have the same number. So let's do this. That will be 1 over 5 times 1 over 6, 1 over 5 times 1 over 6, 1 over 5 times 1 over 6. Same thing, basically 5 times 1 over 5 times 1 over 6. That will be your answer. Your answer will be 1 over 6. So that will be 1 over 6 as your answer. So we don't need to do this way neither. We can just do this one. You get 1 over 6. Now part 4, the sum of the numbers on the balls are 9. So how can you get sum of 9? Well, if you observe, for the first ball you can get, so let's do, we have to have 9 as your sum. First ball we can get 3, we can get 6, we can get 4, we can get 5, we can get 5, and we can get 4, and that's it. So those are the combination for us to get 9. So for the first one to be 3, we have only 1 3, 1 over 5 times 1 over 6, same thing, and same thing as well for this one. So basically 3 times 1 over 5 times 1 over 6. That will be 1, 2, 1 over 10. So 1 over 10 will be your answer for part 4. So this one we did not use this one, so you don't need to write this one. That's okay. We just use this technique to find this. That is 11 part A. Now for part B, answer the whole question on a sheet of graph paper. So I don't have a graph paper right now. But let me explain to you how to do that if I do something like this. So the table below is a cumulative frequency for the scores and have 300 pupils take the test. Okay. Now part 1, using a scale of 2 centimeters to represent 10 marks, we have to draw a horizontal axis from 0 to 60, and then we have to use a scale of 2 for 50 pupils from 0 to 300. Okay, now on your axis we have to draw a smooth curve to illustrate the information. So I don't have a graph paper, but let me try my best to make something for my ruler itself. So I need a horizontal axis from 0 to 60. Every 2 will be 10 marks. Right, this is what it said, though. Yeah. So let's try our best. Something, let's say like this. Let me have some inner space, so I will try. Of course, you have to do this in a graph paper. That will be 2, 4, 6, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think I can stop right here. That will be my 0 here, right? So it says every 2 centimeters should be 10, that is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. That should be S for your marks. Okay, and you will have a vertical axis of value 0 to 300 for 2 centimeters for 50 pupils. So let's try your best again. So that will be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So let's try. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one more, 6. Okay, so basically the scale was 2 centimeters for 50 pupils. So this is 50, this is 100, this is 150, okay, and this is 200, this is 250, and this is 300. And you have to label, of course, your axis. This is for pupils, number of pupils, which is your cumulative frequency. You have to label this as cumulative frequency for your y-axis. Now the first point is given to us by 10, 15. So let's see, where would that be? This is 25, so 10. So where will be 15? This is 25, 75, so 10. So how much is 1 square? So we know that, so we have 10 squares 5, so 3 squares, that will be 1, 2, about 3 square will be somewhere around here. It's 5 squares, so 3 squares should be somewhere around this point. Okay, that will be the first point. So you see, it's pretty hard to draw on paper. If you have a graph, please use your graph. You should be better off than me. So we have 20, 33. So 20, 33, this is 25, 33 should be somewhere about this point. Right? And you have 30, 67, that will be 75. This is 57.5, so we have 60. So what is the midpoint here? So this is 75 plus 50 divided by 2, 62.5, so we need 67. Past the midpoint should be somewhere about here. Okay, then we have 41, 42. So 41, 42 should be where? Should be somewhere below this one. This is 125. Should be somewhere around here. Let's say somewhere around this point. Okay, and we have 52, 57 should be somewhere. So 250, 57 should be somewhere about here. For example, and then 60 will be 300, will be the last value. That will be somewhere at this point. Somewhere about this point. Okay, so now we have to join the points together. So let's try your best. Of course, my graph is not good at all. It looks kind of weird, but it should be in this shape. Somewhat in this shape. It is always going to be the case because for cumulative frequency graph, they will always have a shape like this. Okay, like a snake, basically. It will always have a shape in this form. So that will be your answer for part B1 of this question. But of course, you will be using a graph paper. Your graph will be more accurate than mine. Now, part 2, use a graph to find the lower quartile of the score. That should be pretty easy as well. Lower quartile is defined by 1/4 times the number of people, which is 300. That will be what? Let's try. That should be 75, but let's give it a try. Yep, 75. It's the 75th element on your graph. So the idea here is you have to draw a line at the 75th element and find the corresponding value of mark on your x-axis. So for me, it shows to be about, I would say 32. That is according to my graph, but your graph will be more accurate. So for me, it is 32. Now for part 3, we have to find the range of the score. So the range is Q3 minus Q1. Q3 is 3/4 times 300. That is 3 times 75. So 3/4 times 300. That will be 225 element. That should be found on your graph again. So 225, what is that? It is between this one. Should be about here. And according to my graph, it will give me the value approximately this one. So for me, it shows to be about this 45 should be here. That will be 47, I would say. So mine will be 47. So I'll use the value of 47. So my range will be 47 minus 32, which is my lower quartile. That will be 15. That is according to my graph, but your graph will be more accurate, right? Now, part 4. Given that 70% of the pupils pass the test, use a graph to find the passing mark. Okay, so first of all, how many is 70%, right? So 70% will be how many pupils? 70% times 300. Okay, you will have 70 divided by 100 times 300. That will be 210. So 210 pupils pass the test. What is the passing mark? So pretty easy. We know that the higher the mark you get, you will pass, right? Because this is how it is. That you have to have high marks to pass. But now let's count. So 210 will be where? 210 will be somewhere about. So 210 pass. So this is tricky because 210 we have to count from the top, because we know that 210 is the amount who passed the test, so we know that it should be 90 from the bottom. It will be somewhere about this point. This will be 90, and according to my graph, the passing mark will be somewhere around this. So for me, it shows to be 35.5. So my graph shows 35.5. That is the passing mark for the test. Now your graph may be different. It will be depending on your line, on how you draw this. You will find something else for your answer. But you get the idea of how to do this question. You first have to find how many pupils pass the test, which is 210. And then you know that passing will be from the top to the bottom. So 300 minus 210 will be 90. So you go to 90. You have to draw a line to find the passing mark, which is this one. Okay, that will be the last question of this paper. I hope that was somewhat helpful. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you soon.